My name is Mike Glaser, and I'm on the Google marketing team in our New York City office. I'm thrilled to be here today, and I have the privilege of sharing one of our recent projects called Project Rebrief. Now, what is Project Rebrief? Why are we doing this? The short answer is it's a grand marketing experiment. It's a challenge to rethink the way we use digital as a medium. It's a challenge to see if we can use digital to tell better stories online. And where it was born out of was a year ago, we were sitting around doing what marketers love to do, which is talk about ads. And what we realized was anytime we talk to our friends, our family, our peers about ads, and we say, what ad do you love? What ad do you share? Do you remember? 9 times out of 10, they think of a TV ad. And it's usually a TV ad from years ago. And that kind of got under our skin. Certainly with all the technology today, with all the creative, all the talent in this room today, why are people still looking to the past, to classic ad campaigns as ads that they love, share, and remember? And thus was the beginning of Project Rebrief. And so what we did is we very much looked to the past. We looked to the ads that defined the advertising era, those that defined TV, those that defined print. And we looked to the advertising creatives, the art directors, the copywriters that masterminded those campaigns. And we blended the best of the old with the best talent and the best tools that we have today by partnering with a number of our Google agencies back in the States. And the output is something I'm going to share with you today, reimagined ads for the digital era. Now, like any good experiment, we had a lab book. And our lab book came in the form of a film. So let me share with you this trailer.
The way the technology is used today, you've got handheld devices, you've got screens, you've got 3 screens. People can communicate, they can share and search.
There are way too many ads on every single page. Too much focus on technology and not enough on people.
The users are telling us what they're interested in, where they want to go.
The first display ad basically said, find out more, click here. And then the 15 years that followed, that's basically the only innovation we saw.
If you can think it, you can build it. If you have time to make it, you have time to make it wonderful.
To come up with great display advertising, you need to first come up with just great advertising.
I can't believe I ate that whole thing.
You ate it, Ralph.
Trying harder is still the best way to do business. You can drive a Volvo like you hate it.
I'd like to buy the world a coat and keep it company. It's the real thing.
Technology has left me pretty much in the past.
I'm not sure that it can be done.
Howie believes we're geniuses. I believe we're idiots, and we're both right.
My own impetus is a little bit of insecurity. Can you do it, champ?
How do we tailor that for Banner?
That's your job. From my generation, that's absolutely science fiction.
I don't think we estimated the power of this.
Thank you. Again, just to recap in that video, we partnered with 4 global brands, Volvo, Coca-Cola, Avis, and Alka-Seltzer. And we called up and brought out of retirement 5 advertising legends. These folks have long since retired, happily living in LA and in Detroit. And we reined them out to come to Google for a couple weeks. And we taught them all about search and YouTube and mobile and how accelerometers work and how and when to use GPS in your ads. And then we paired them with the creatives at some of our Google partner agencies. And together we had them reimagine their classic campaigns for the web. So the first one I want to walk through today is Volvo. We're going to go back in time to the early 60s. Now, Volvo in 1962 was relatively unheard of in the United States. It was the heyday of American cars. When Ali and Gargano, the agency that won the Volvo account, was tasked with launching this brand, Emil Gargano, the art director, did what any good marketer or advertiser would do. He dug into the insights. And the core insight that he uncovered was Volvos on average would last 3 to 4 times as long as their American counterparts. This meant that you no longer had to buy a car every 3 or 4 years. This meant as a manufacturer, you no longer had to come out with a new body style every 3 to 4 years. It was a new type of car, and it required a new way to talk about cars. And so what I want to show you now is the original Drive It Like You Hate It TV spot from 1962.
Volvo gets over 25 miles on a gallon of gas, just like the little economy cars, and runs away from other popular priced compacts in every speed range. And you can drive a Volvo like you hate it. Cheaper than psychiatry.
Did you all notice the cow in the video randomly pops in about 2/3 of the way through? We asked Emil about that, and we said, why did you put a cow in the video? And he said, just cause, thought it'd be funny. And so it was one of his first, it might have been his first television commercial, and we thought that was pretty entertaining. But what's the key point here? It's durability. Emil and the team hired a rally car driver, took the car off the roads out into the backwoods, and told him just to have fun. Show what this car is made of, show that it's reliable, and show that it's durable. 50 years later, when you think of the Volvo brand and its tagline, Volvo for life, durability and reliability are still hand in hand with safety and the premium brand that Volvo has come to be. So as we worked with Emil and the team to reimagine this ad and to dig in to how we play into this insight of durability and yet update it for today's web, for today's audience, we did a Google search and we stumbled across this gentleman. His name's Irv Gordon. He's a retired school teacher living just outside of New York City. He owns a 1966 Volvo P1800S, which is the car that you see in the film, and he has a world record 2.9 million miles on it. One owner, 46 years. He's kept track of every tire change, every spark plug, every oil change, and he holds every world record out there. He is also a phenomenal storyteller, a phenomenal person behind the camera. So what we did when we reimagined this ad is we sent a film crew out to spend 2 to 3 weeks with Irv Gordon. Out at his home in Long Island, we went on road trips with him down to Virginia and North Carolina. We met a lot of his friends. And along the way, we wanted to capture moments, capture stories and memories that Irv had with his car. From the very first weekend when he picked it up and he drove 1,500 miles before Monday came around, to the night that he met his wife and he took her out to dinner. Simple dinner date in Little Italy, Baltimore, which was a 260-mile trip to take her out to dinner. This man truly loves driving. And so what I want to do now is we're actually going to switch out to Chrome browser, and I want to show you what the reimagined Drive It Like You Hate It looks like. So if we can switch over here. All right, so what you see here is a mocked up YouTube page. Now this is a large format ad. It really could run anywhere that has permits large format rich media ads. And I want to call your attention to 3 elements of this advertising. The first thing is at the very bottom you notice this timeline. And if we go all the way back to the very beginning, let's click there, the first 48 hours. We've got a great 2-minute vignette of Irv talking about the first weekend he spent with his car. And you'll notice at the top of the odometer reads 0. As we move forward in time to the mid-70s, he talks about family vacations at Luray Caverns in Virginia. We move forward again. We built in audio clips and photos, again, chronicling his memories and his relationship with his car. And then when we go today, this is where it gets really interesting. Do you notice the odometer changed to his current mileage today? Now, back in Virginia, it is just before noon, 10:20, and we will see it update. It looks like it's catching up to him. But with Irv's permission, we placed a device in the trunk of his car, and that device updates in real time the odometer reading on his Volvo. Again, with his permission, he's been very kind. But the whole idea here is Irv and Volvo can involve users in this countdown to 3 million miles. Sure, there's a phenomenal story about 2.9 million miles and all the memories, but how neat is it that we can all participate with Irv as he gets closer and closer to 3 million miles? If you're wondering about the math, 3 million miles divided by 46 years averages out to 173 miles a day. So he still has a couple more months to go, but we're looking forward to it. The other neat thing about placing the device with his permission is we can tap into the Google Maps API and show where Irv is in real time. So this happens to be his hometown, and I'm going to zoom out so you guys can see it's just outside of New York City. But when we log in, he's often outside of New York. He'll be in Virginia. He was in Ohio. I've seen him as far south as South Carolina. But the idea is, as a user, you're brought into Irv's world, and you get a little heads up, here's where I am. And the last thing here is we've plugged into the Google Plus as well, Google Plus API. And so we introduced Irv to Google Plus. He has a small but relatively passionate fan base. And when Irv updates his status, shares where he's going on road trips, he gets a quick feedback from all over the web. Again, bringing them into the story, bringing them into this journey to 3 million miles. So as we leave the demo and we go back to the presentation, what's the big deal here? It's all about storytelling. It's the role of technology in storytelling and using technology to create more relevant, more personal stories, using technology to involve users in the story and bring them on that journey to 3 million miles. Now we're going to switch industries, same time period, it's still the early 1960s, and we're going to go to the services industry, and Avis, the rental car. So I don't know how many of you in the room rented a car for this event, but if you did, I'm fairly confident the experience was really positive. You probably got a nice clean car, full tank of gas, no cigarettes in the ashtray. But the car rental market in 1962 was very, very different. You weren't guaranteed any of this. And this is very much the situation that Avis and Paula Green, the copywriter working on the Avis account, faced when they came up with their now famous 3 lines, "We try harder." But instead of hearing me talk about this, I would love to show you a clip from the film so you can hear from Paula on the origin of the campaign.
It's very simple, but if you look at it, it is an argument. It is a syllogism. We're number 2, but we try harder. We're putting our name on the line. We can't afford to give you a dirty car. We can't afford to give you windshield wipers that don't wipe. We can't afford to give you dirty ashtrays. We presented a company that was willing to work for you. It was sort of like tacking up the manifesto on the door. And the one thing I'm sure we did is kind of write a manual for the whole rent-a-car business. I think we hit a chord. People talked about it a lot. They were intrigued by it. So when people started to say, "Hey, we saw your ad, it's terrific," everybody kind of perked up. They began to be very proud, and the whole organization changed. The cars got better care, the customers got better care. They began to get a lot more customers. Their advertising has included the "We Try Harder" for years.
I love that line. She says their advertising has included "We Try Harder" for 50 years. In fact, if you look at all the print, all the web, all the TV, it still uses that. Now, what's fascinating about that is that Avis receives hundreds and hundreds of letters from happy customers, and some, to be fair, unhappy customers, sharing how Avis tried harder for them, or perhaps how Avis could have tried harder. And when we worked with Paula to reimagine this campaign for today's web, we wanted to use technology, tap into technology to say, how can we harness all these stories that are being shared? And how can we help Avis shift from telling about how it tries harder to truly showing how it tries harder? And so what we're going to do now, we're going to go back to our live demo here, and I'm going to walk you through We Try Harder Reimagined. Now, let's say I rented from Avis 2 weeks ago. Avis knows that because maybe I'm in their customer database or I'm on a remarketing list, and I see this ad pops up, and for those in the back room, it says, "Watch personal Avis rental stories created by our customers," or "Create yours." And so what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and create a story. So what it's going to do at the beginning here, it's going to ask me for some basic information. Avis wants to know who I am, in what context did I rent the car, and then ultimately what was my story. So let's start with a few details. My name is Mike. I am a Mr., and I'll get to why that's important. Rental locations. So we populated a database with all Avis's US rental locations. So I live in New York City. Let's add that in. You'll see it autofill. We did the same with Avis's current fleet of cars. So let's say I rented a 328i. All right, now, if you remember the customer service rep that you worked with, their name, you can put it in here. And let's say their name was Chris. This is where asking for gender becomes really important. Chris in the United States can be either a male or a female name. We certainly don't want to make any assumptions and risk offending anybody. So in this case, Chris is a Ms. And I'm going to hit next. I was pleased. OK, and now I have a free-form text where I have 140 characters to share my story about how Avis tried harder. And I can use natural language here. So let's say this. While vacationing in New York City, I left my sunglasses in the back seat of the car. Avis found them and quickly returned them. Perfect. And now we're going to hit next. Now a couple things happen as the story is being rendered. It's pulling that structured data, my name, the location, the car that I rented, who helped me out, and then it's parsing through the story and it's looking for keywords. Things like lost sunglasses and says, hey, I understand what that scenario is. Things like New York City recognizes the location. And it's going to pull all that together into a highly personalized, highly customized story about how Avis tried harder for me.
We look at every message sent by every customer to see if we're still trying harder. Here's one from one of our customers. After dropping by an Avis branch in New York City, he realized he misplaced his sunglasses. Were they in the glove box? Under the seat? Dropped behind the bathroom sink? Chris, our employee at that branch, was happy to help, searching high and low until she found them, and assured they found their way back to the rightful owner. We understand that people on the go can occasionally forget an item or two. We go the extra mile to return lost items to their owners, because we've never lost track of how important our customers are to us.
Thank you. So what's the big deal? Why is this important? Again, I think it comes back to technology. And how can you use technology to harness a really big problem, or really big challenge, which is there are thousands of people talking about the Avis brand, whether they do it through physical letters, through social media, or emails. And Avis, using technology, can tap into that and use that feedback to evaluate how they are doing and improve, but also use that feedback in their marketing. Again, to go from telling how they try harder to showing how they try harder. After the sessions, I encourage you to swing by the booth and demo this out. We have a bunch of scenarios rendered out. In fact, if you were to render out every permutation that's possible here, there's not enough storage space. It would take twice the available hard drive space in the world to render out every possible film here. So I encourage you to check it out. And now we move to our final case study, and one that's dear to me, Coca-Cola. The context here is that it's the early 1970s. Coke, of course, at that point was almost a 100-year brand. But in its marketing, it had historically focused on product attributes. It was about refreshment. It was about Coke being really good with meals. And when this TV campaign launched, the Hilltop campaign, I'd like to buy a world of Coke, it laddered up to something bigger. Coke wasn't just a product. It was something that connected people. And that element was really important culturally at the time because we were coming out of the Vietnam War. And it was the first time Coke, or really any global brand, had come out on a mainstream media, placed young adults of all nationalities together, and had them sing, "I'd like to buy the world of Coke and keep it company." So let's go and revisit that campaign real quickly.
I'd like to buy the world a home and furnish it with love. Grow apple trees and honey bees and snow white turtle doves. I'd like to teach the world to sing. Sing with me. Perfect harmony. Perfect harmony. I'd like to buy the world a Coke and keep it company. That's the real I'd like to teach the world to sing. In perfect harmony. Perfect
So what's this ad boiled down to? It's an aspiration. First, the ad itself was a great success. Coke sales went up. They're very proud of it. Second, it's an aspirational message. In 1971, you couldn't buy the world a Coke. And so when we brought Harvey Gabor, the art director at McKeon Erickson, back to Google to reimagine this ad using today's technology, today's tools, we set out to do two things. One was to see how could we tap technology to connect people, not only online, but online to offline as well. And two, how could we use technology to make good on a promise that Harvey Gabor made 40 years ago when he said, "I'd like to buy the world a Coke"? And that brings us to Hilltop Reimagined. And Hilltop Reimagined actually has two parts. On your left side, we have a very standard display ad experience. And it allows users to upload video and text messages and send those messages around the world alongside a free can of Coca-Cola to a specially designed vending machine. Now, the vending machine that you see on your right is actually a very standard off-the-shelf vending machine that we hacked, put a computer in it, touchscreen, hooked it up to the web and to Google's ad servers so they connect with each other in real time. And what I want to do now is I want to show you a clip of this technology in the real world. Basically, we went ahead and built a series of these machines, placed them in New York City, in San Francisco, in Buenos Aires, and in Cape Town. And we let unsuspecting consumers just walk by and see what happened. Similarly, we launched the website and we let people send messages from all over the world. When we launched this, in the first weekend, we received 4,400 messages from over 47 countries on one site where this ad lives. And so what I want to do to close our session is show you a clip of how something like this, bridging online to offline, connecting people, can play out in the real world.
Thank you for the Coke! From New York! I know where you're from! Hola! Vicky! From Italy. Thanks for the Coke! Thank you for my party!
Eli de Cape Town, mando un beso desde Buenos Aires.
Muchas gracias por la coca, saludos de Buenos Aires.
Hey, it's me, Bulelani. I'm wishing you a great Christmas. Thanks for the Coke.
Hi, I'm Lee from Cape Town. Thank you very much for this Coke. Thank you.
Me encanta. La voy a disfrutar mucho.
Good one.
Got the Coke, thanks, Dave.
Thank you. Thank you. That's the best Coke I've ever had.
Thank you. And so with that, it brings us to the end of our Project Rebrief case studies today. I hope this piqued your interest or sparked your curiosity and perhaps even inspired you to go out and rethink the role of technology and how technology can enhance storytelling, how technology can make the formerly impossible possible. Thank you.